This is the video lesson for Tuesday, January 26th. The bell ringer is if you had decided not to come to school today, what would you be doing instead? I guess if you're watching this video, it is because you did not come to school. So let's ask it this way. If you had decided not to do your schoolwork today, what would you be doing instead? What factors went into your decision to come to school this morning? You can also answer it as if it was yesterday or tomorrow or whatever day you choose to come to school. So answer that bell work accordingly. However you want should be fine. Pause the video if you need to. So when we ask what you would have done instead, that leads us to opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is going to be one of the most important things to think about in the field of economics. And the definition of opportunity cost is the cost of the next best alternative. So if you had decided not to come to school this morning, if today was your, or we're talking about yesterday, maybe yesterday is your day to come to school, you didn't come to school, you came to school. So what that thing that you would have done had you not come to school, that is your opportunity cost. I mean, that means it's the thing that you're giving up in order to come to school. So, for example, money spent on food is money that can't be saved to buy a car. I've talked in this class about how my wife and I are looking to buy a house, maybe in Greenville, and we're saving money and we're looking around for that. But every time I spend money on something besides that, well, there's an opportunity cost to that money. If I buy the computer stand that raises my laptop up in order to have a standing desk, well, that would be money that I can't use to then save and spend on a house in the future, right? So anytime you choose to do something with time or money or anything, whatever you're giving up, whatever the next best alternative is, that is your opportunity cost. So in your notes, recall some recent purchases you've made. What was the next best alternative to use that money on? So maybe you bought lunch, and the opportunity cost would have been money that could have been saved for college. So pause the video to answer this question before we move on. All right, and besides money, what else could you use to measure opportunity cost? So think about that, answer the question. I've already mentioned time. Let's see if you can come up with anything more besides time. But time is definitely the easiest one to come up with there. Pause the video if you need to.
In this video is TINSTAFL. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Because of scarcity, because of trade-offs, and because we just don't have unlimited resources, nothing is ever free, even if it may appear free to you. So for example, you go into the store and it's a buy one, get one free. You're ecstatic because, yay, I just got a free meal. Now, it's not really free though. The company has to eat the cost. They still had to pay the farmers to grow the food. They still had to pay the chefs to cook it. They still had to pay the utilities to even just operate that establishment. That cost gets divvied up in other ways. While it may appear free for you, someone is paying for it. Nothing in this life is ever truly free. There's always a cost. You might not be the one that's directly paying it, but in the long run, it gets distributed in other areas. Maybe the prices for the food just generally are higher to compensate for those free days. Or at the same time, too, you're even just sacrificing your time to go to the restaurant. There's always a cost that is paid whenever we do anything. So in this video,
All right, so you remember how there's no such thing as a free lunch? Hopefully you do, because I just showed you the video, and how we talked about how nothing's ever free. If you get a free lunch, well, somebody's paying for it. Is the school paying for it? Is, if I gave a pizza party, am I paying for it? Or is the farmer paying for it? Somebody has to pay for it because it has value. Well, we're also going to have TINSTAFL on opportunity cost. And so we're going to say there is no such thing as a free lunch. Also implies every choice involves an opportunity cost. So I have pictures here of pizza, and this is obviously Zaxby's. And an example is free pizza lunch means you give up the opportunity to have Zaxby's for lunch. So why is there no such thing as a free lunch with a pizza? Well, one reason is because whoever's paying for the pizza is paying for the pizza. So it's not free. Maybe you went on a college tour and they had a free pizza lunch. Well, it's not free. You paid for it with your time of going on this college tour. And then the other way that you pay for it is that you can't then go to Zaxby's for lunch, right? There is an opportunity cost there. So it's the cost of the next best alternative, the thing that you would be giving up because you would have had Zaxby's for lunch if you wouldn't have had pizza. Trade-offs, on the other hand, are a little bit different. So the decisions that you make are the trade-offs. The opportunity cost is the thing that you gave up. The trade-off is the decision itself. So if you're making a decision between Zaxby's and a free pizza lunch, that decision is called a trade-off. Trade-offs are alternative choices that are given up in favor of the choice we select. So you're making a trade-off. Everything that you could have chosen besides that free pizza lunch is your trade-off. Everything that I could have spent that $100 on besides my standing desk is the trade-off. Maybe the trade-off is the opportunity cost, which is the next best alternative, which is the house, that the money that I could have saved towards the house. But maybe there's other things that I don't spend the money on that I could have wanted as well. All of those things are trade-offs. Isn't this the same as opportunity cost? No, this is different than opportunity cost because trade-offs are all the choices given up, while opportunity cost is the cost of the best alternative. So hopefully you understand that subtle and slight difference.
In fact, you are using Econ right now and you made a choice to watch this video. That means you must feel that the benefit outweighs the cost. You might be thinking, this is YouTube, there's no cost. But sure there is. You could be watching videos of kittens or skaters falling on their face or Charlie biting fingers. Oh, the cost of watching this video is the video you're not watching. The value of the next best alternative. Economists call this your opportunity cost. If you're still watching this video, it means that you believe it's the best use of your time, or you wouldn't be watching it. But what if I'm watching this at school? You ask, what if I'm forced to watch this? Well, you weren't forced to go to school. You could ditch. You could drop out. You could move to a country that doesn't have compulsory education. But the cost would outweigh the benefit. Even if you are at school, you're not forced to watch the video. You could close your eyes or put your head down. No one's going to pry your eyes open. That'd be creepy. Now let's talk about why John Green isn't here teaching this course. John is an entrepreneur. He writes books, runs DFTBA, Vlogbrothers, and Mental Plus, and creates movies. But he can't do everything he wants to do. He looked at the benefits and costs of his choices, and in the end, decided to spend more time writing books. So Mr. Clifford and I are jumping in to teach you economics.
And believe it or not, we just covered the two most important assumptions in all of economics. First, the idea of scarcity. People have unlimited wants but limited resources. And second, everything has a cost. And if these assumptions are true, then we need a way to analyze our choices and get the most from our limited resources. And that's economics.
Wait, but let's go back to the idea of benefits and costs. About 30,000 people a year die in car accidents in the U.S. Is there a way to ensure there will never be another traffic fatality? Yes, we could crush all the cars, close the roads, and force everyone to walk. That would solve the car crash problem. Do you want to decrease the number of people convicted of murder? You could decriminalize murder. You want to end the unethical treatment of elephants? You could kill off all the elephants in an ethical way, of course. But before you decide to tenderly euthanize herds of beautiful elephants, think about it for a second. Each of these solutions is absurd because the cost clearly outweighs the benefit. Traffic fatalities are tragic, but we don't prevent them at all costs. You know that driving has risks, that you might get in a car accident, but you still drive. Why? Well, first, who's going to walk to the gym? And walking home with heavy groceries in the rain is way worse than the teeny tiny chance of dying in a car crash. The point is, individuals, businesses, and countries can't have everything. So they're forced to weigh the benefits and costs of their decisions and make choices.